Hello, everyone. It's lovely to see you all back on the writer's block. It's great to have you here this fine evening, joining us for our very exciting Enterprise Hub event with the lovely Ashleigh Nugent. For those of you who don't know me or haven't met me before, my name's Becky. I'm a project coordinator for WOW. We've also got Zach in the building tonight, who's doing our wonderful tech for all things eventy. And if you need anything throughout the event tonight, please don't hesitate to just pop us a message. You can message us privately or in the chat if you'd like to ask something or you need help with anything. That's absolutely fine. And so without further ado, I'm very excited to introduce, although I think you may have all already met him by this point, the wonderfully talented Ashleigh Nugent, who is a writer and just generally wonderful multidisciplinary artist, a man with many hats. He's also got his own company where he works supporting people who are in prisons with creative writing and giving them access to education and conversations that they might not have otherwise. He also has written an incredible book, which is a semi-autobiographical fiction called Blocs, which I would urge all of you to check out if you haven't already. And that actually has been turned into a one-man play, which Ashleigh, I believe, did you star in that yourself as well?
It was a one-man show, written, directed, and done, just
Fantastic.
done by me.
Yeah, I was pretty sure it was, but I was like, because I was like, so he's obviously, everybody who's watching today, Ashleigh is a very accomplished creative, and he's worked very hard to make himself versatile in lots of different areas and to really challenge himself to kind of branch out into new genres of writing and creativity. I think that's fair to say, isn't it, Ash?
Yes, indeed.
And yeah, so tonight's session is going to be led majoritively by Ash, and he's got some fantastic content prepared for you and some exercises and whatnot, which is around the theme of the hero's journey and our journey to success, and also what that means to us, how we can keep our heads in the game, both career-wise and also in terms of looking after ourselves and knowing who we are. And Ash is sort of going to guide us through and support us with that today in this session. We also hopefully are going to have time for a little bit of a Q&A at the end of the session today. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask throughout, you can either pop them in the chat again to me privately if you'd like me to ask them on your behalf, or into the chat generally, or if you'd like to unmute yourself and ask a question at the end, you can also do so. So without further ado, over to you, Ash.
Thank you. And indeed, I've never written. Thank you, Becky. That was a lovely introduction. We're not going to do the hero's journey today. We're going to come back to that. Today, we're just going to discuss, how you can get the most out of yourself as a writer, as a person. We're going to develop a metaphor for you, but at your best, coming back to the old metaphor thing that we've discussed a number of times. We're going to do some exercises, and we're going to look also at a little bit at the science of what actually is happening when you get nervous about stuff. I know we've covered some of this stuff before. We're going to go a little bit deeper with it. And yeah, as Becky says, I'd never written anything for the stage before. I'd never written for the stage. When the opportunity came up to write a piece of stage that was based on a piece of literature, and I had a book coming out, that's literature. I can do something on the stage. Let's write a show. They gave me the money and they let me perform it twice at their kind of festival in Newcastle. And then I think I mentioned then that I performed at the Unity Theatre and at a prison before lockdown happened. We had to knock it on the head for a bit then. But that changed so many things for me. That one show changed so many things for me. And people started taking me more seriously as a writer as opposed to a rapper. because of that one show. And I've now got really good connections with all kinds of people because of that one show and the knock-on effect of that one show. Really strange. Sometimes you do these things and you go nowhere. Most of the things that you apply for go nowhere. Most of the competitions and grants and things I apply for, I don't ever hear anything back. But every now and again, something happens that has a knock-on effect. So to come back to where we left off last time, we were talking about, I did a little bit of the communication model with you. I explained, didn't I? And hello, those who've just jumped on, Santa and Nancy and everyone else. And I can't see Julie, I can't see everyone's face, but hello, everyone that's with us today. I explained a little bit about how people have their own idea of what the world is, but that's in your head. It's not actually real. Hello, Nancy. Because you filter out most of the stuff that's coming into your conscious mind. You filter things out. So, for example, right now, you're not aware of your big toe or how it feels or what noises are happening in the background in your place. They're there, and your big toe is now there. It's in your conscious. I just put it there, but it was there all along, but you filtered it out because it's not relevant to what's happening right now. So you build this map of the world based on this filtered reality, okay? Those filters are things like your values, what you value, your past experiences, and your beliefs, how you believe the world to be, the map of the world that you've built in your head. And those filters then, remember last time we wrote them down, filters, which those filters, what they do is they distort reality. They delete the feeling of your big toe or whatever's not relevant right now, okay? And they generalize. Oh yeah, rappers are like that. Men are like that. Scousers, they're all like that. Women, like Australians, you know, they're like Americans. You know, Americans are like, no, you don't. No, you have no idea what Americans are like because they're all different. But you've decided that you know what, because you have to simplify the world. You can't possibly take on board the 2.3 million things that are coming in through your sense receptors every second. So we generalize down to about 7 things every second. So right about now, if I ask you to write down a list of what you're aware of, most people will not get past 7. 9, you'd be doing really well. If you're under pressure, it'll go down to 3, 2, 1, just the thing that you are stressing about, okay? Now, understanding this helps you to realize, for one thing, as a writer, that everybody's got their own map in their head, and that's why they get into these drama situations. This is really good to think about for poetry and for literature. So if you consider what is that other person's map like, and if you want to study that model further, I would suggest you read the NLP workbook. So I'm doing this thing again where I go off looking for a book. Yeah, doesn't matter. It's called the NLP workbook anyway, and it's got all these models in. Another really, really good starting point for this kind of level of understanding is the Chimp paradox by Professor Stephen Peters. This guy is the fella who took this kind of thinking to Liverpool Football Club, and he changed the mindset of the players at Liverpool Football Club and made it a more successful team. So if you think I'm talking wishy-washy, airy-fairy nonsense, bear that in mind. Professor Stephen Peters changed the mindset of the Liverpool Football Club team and made them more successful by helping them understand what goes on up here. So a very simple metaphor for the way this works. That map inside your head is not the territory. The map is not the territory. It's just a map. You would not look at the map of the UK and go, that's the UK. It's just a map. It's not real. So your vision of the world, what you believe the world to be, is not real. It's a filtered reality. Yeah. And no wonder people can't agree or wonder, why can't these people see things the way I do? Why would they? They're not you. It's a bit like this. This is a really good metaphor for thinking about it. The world is just a dark room, and your consciousness is a torch. What do you choose to shine your torch on? If you are only aware of about 7 things at this given moment, what are you going to choose those 7 things to be? I was out with my son one day down by the beach, and there was a load of scruffy houses and a railway track and a big scruffy rusty bridge. And I said, Gabe, what are you aware of at the moment? And he pointed out the trees and the sky and the sound of the sea. And I was like, that's because you've got a positive mindset. You could have said scruffy houses, rusty railway bridge, horrible looking old railway, noise of a train. But you didn't notice them. You filtered those out. And in your reality, what matters here, what you're aware of, is the trees, the sound of the sea, the look of the clouds, the beauty all around you. So what are you going to focus on? That's what we're going to help with today, help you to focus. And what we're going to focus on is success. So first of all, you've all got your pens and pads out. I would like you all to decide right now how we define that. This could be success as a writer or success just as a person in general. First thing I want you to write down is your definition of success. Not mine, yours. What does success mean? Okay. Okay. Just to make sure that this is focused on what really matters to you, because what matters to me may be very different to what you think success means for you. Success can be really simple. It could be changing negative relationships or patterns in your life. It could be being really confident. It could be overcoming, or it might be to do with being a writer. It might be getting published. Being a successful writer might not mean getting published to you. It might just mean daring to read your poems out in public. Okay, so it's what does it mean to you? Now, I'm going to give you 1 minute on this one. I'd like you to start with a successful either writer or person, whichever one you want to go for. A successful writer or person is, and list those traits. And maybe we'll share some of these traits if you want to. What are the traits of a successful person or writer? I'm going to write some down on my board here. Go on, you've got 1 minute. Oh, there you go. That was 1 minute already. Wow, that went quick. Okay. So, go on then. Anybody want to share just a couple of ideas of what a successful person or writer is? What traits does a successful person have? Don't hide mine. Nicking my ideas. Go on, who wants to share a couple with us? You either put your hand up and take your mute off, or just stick it in the chat. It's up to you. Anyone? Go on then, Pippa. Yeah. Have perseverance. Nancy says, indeed. I agree. So a successful person is, what's the kind of adjective that we'd use for that, for perseverance? A successful person is feeling faith that what you have to say is important to, yeah. faithful in their own message. I got confidence. Go on, Pippa, what were you going to say?
I was going to say brave, confident, but seen as a mentor or a teacher.
Yeah. Brave. I got confident as well.
Honest.
Honest. Yeah, I got honest. Yeah. A mentor. A successful person is a mentor. On the hero's journey, which we'll come back to in a later session, finding a mentor is one of the stages. Taking your power back to the rest of the world, like Marcus Rashford, productive, passionate, inspired, inspiring, purposeful. Yeah, thank you, Sana. Taking your power that you've now gained, like Marcus Rashford has taken his money and his platform and help the rest of the world with it. Compassion, positivity, and determination, says Angela. Thank you. Yeah, indeed. So these are the traits of a successful person, and not just doing it for yourself, but taking it back and doing something to help the rest of the world with it. Okay, now what does, I'm going to get a different color, what does a successful person do? So you need to write a successful person does. What are the things you think a successful person does? 1 minute, go. Okay, about 5 seconds, maybe one more. Oh no, I'm out. I've run out. That's it, I'm done. Okay. A successful person does. What does a successful person do? Let's have some sharing. Come on, tell me what a successful person or writer do. Listens, this is Becky, listens, reads, researches, good, challenges, empathizes, shares, absorbs, take in, yeah. Learn from other successful people, says Pippa, yeah. I put finds the others, finds others. Go and find them other people who can help you. Finds routine, says Pippa, absolutely. I wish I'd got that one down. Finds routine, yeah. Make time to do the thing. Stop going on about not having the time. Make the time exists. Says yes, says Angela. Yes to what? Yes to things that give them purpose. You could take that further, Angela. I'd like to know what you think that yes means. What are you saying? What are you saying yes to? I'm interested to see if Angela type something now, saying yes. Does the work needed, gets things finished, promotes themselves, inspires others, raises others up? Absolutely. I don't think anybody is really happy who just keeps the success to themselves. I think the happiest people, it's well now known from sociological studies, the happiest people in the world are those who, within their work, help others. And the book Flow, remember the book Flow that was mentioned in the first session? That is about the happiest people they managed to find from their really intensive worldwide study was people who have a balance of work and home life. It was basically people who live in the Alps and they are weavers and they all do it together. So they weave together, then they might nip out. You go and do some selling of the weaving, I'll stay here and do the cooking, then maybe I'll pick some spuds, and they blend the whole work life. They have a sense of community and they all help each other and they blend their work and life perfectly. They were the happiest people that the writers of Flow managed to find. Okay, so go on, we've got some more. Sorry, that was Pippa who said yes, but I would say that people say, oh yes, to things that make them, how do we make that bigger? Sorry, that wasn't Angela, that was Pippa that said say yes. Sorry. But where is the chat? So yes, the things that make them happy and bring them joy. Absolutely. Something purposeful. Absolutely. That is the perfect definition of success. So, as we know, sometimes there are things that hold you back. Okay. I may well have not bothered applying for that grant that got me that bit of money to write the one-man show. I might have then gone, oh, I'm not doing that. I can't write for the theatre. I've never wrote for the theatre. I haven't studied writing for the theatre. I like the theatre a lot, but I wouldn't say I go the way like a real theatre writer or playwright should go. I don't go do plays the way I do books. I read books every day. I haven't studied plays in that way, so maybe I should just, not go there. I'm not good enough. I haven't studied enough, and all that kind of stuff that holds you back. So there's some really interesting ways of looking at the things that hold you back from doing stuff. I'm going to share maybe just one or two of these ways with you. I have so much stuff I would love to share with you, but I have to make sure things fit into the time we have. So this first thing I'm going to share with you is something called the SCARF model. SCARF, SC. It's one of those mnemonics, like where each letter stands for a different word. SC. So you can write it down the side of your page, like SCARF, SCARF. So we know nowadays that people get into social anxiety. We know why we have anxiety. So your body is hardwired to keep you alive. That is to move towards things that are good for you, food, shelter, reproduction, to move away from things that are bad for you, saber-toothed tigers, the dark and the cold, starvation, and not reproduction, I would suggest. Anyway, anyway, to move towards things that are good for you and away from things that are bad for you. And you're hardwired, so that the limbic system of the brain, if you go right through the middle of your head there, that way, through your temples, and then right through that point, where those 2 points meet, you'll find, well, the pineal gland, well, that's another thing. The limbic system also, the primitive part of your brain that all mammals have, and they will all respond to danger in the same way you will. Heat, you won't think about, take my hand off the heat. Your body does it for you. Your limbic system sends the messages from your nervous system on your skin to the limbic system to back away from the danger. Okay, some people are more adept at moving away from danger in life, away from being skint, for example. Some people are more adept at moving towards what is good for them. And you can work out for yourself, am I an away person or a towards person? And would it be good to balance them? Yeah, because some people who are away, they're always running away from what's bad rather than moving towards what's good. So it's good to balance the two. Anyway, that part of your brain, it doesn't know any grey areas. It only sees in black and white. If you're outdoors, you're living in the wild. We've lived in the wild for, like, depending on what your beliefs are, like 6 million years. If you're not a religious person, we've evolved out in the wild anyway for a long time, and we've only lived in city states for a very short amount of time by comparison. So we're hardwired like the animals. Okay, we are animals. If the grass moves, it might be a snake. You haven't got time to go, it might be the wind. Wait, snake's got you. I'm dead. You haven't got time. Could be the wind. Could be the wind. No, just get out of the way. That's what your limbic system does. It's your best friend. That's why it's the chimp paradox. It's your best friend. It's also your worst enemy. Because what happens nowadays is people get into this fight or flight or freeze mode when you don't really need to. So your limbic system makes your body move away from the danger. It fights, boy, or it flights, or it freezes, play dead. This is what people do nowadays when I do these conferences and start talking about racism. They either go, oi, why are you always going on about it? Or, I'm not a racist. Fight, flight, or let's just hope he stops talking soon. Freeze, yeah? So we get into social anxiety nowadays just because someone looks at you funny in the street, or because someone kept you waiting too long at Tesco's, or because the bus went past and you've really got to get to this meeting. Like, doesn't matter that much. Now you're in the kind of mode, the same kind of anxiety you would be if you were being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. And saber-toothed tigers don't live in Liverpool. They don't even exist anymore. There's no mammoths. Just quit it. Now, if you understand what your body is doing, what your brain is doing, it's doing it to keep you alive. But is it necessary? That level of anxiety, even if you're about to get up and do a poem, is that level of anxiety going to help? Remember the Mercedes model from last time? Change what you're doing with your body. Stand up straight, breathe deeply, change what you're doing with the logical part of your brain, the frontal lobe here, the frontal lobe. That's the human bit. You've got this outer layer called the neocortex of the brain. Neo meaning new. The new layer, the human layer, the animal layer. And this front bit does the logical thinking. But that panicky bit, the limbic system, reacts 5 times faster than logical thought. So it's okay that you got into a panic. That's okay. But now you have the opportunity to think logically and go, does this level of panic help? Is this nervousness helping me? Nerves are not a bad thing, but what your body is doing when you're nervous and what your brain is doing, so what they say physiologically and neurologically, what's happening is no different to being excited. The only difference between being nervous and being excited is the words that you've just chosen to put on it. And studies have been done on this. You've got people to do karaoke, and they've got half of them to, before they go on stage, say over in the head to themselves, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. And they did better. They weren't singers, but they performed better. They were going, like a rhinestone cowboy. You know what I mean? They go, like a rhinestone cowboy. Even though they can't sing like me, they were giving it some, because they were excited. They told themselves they were excited. Yeah. What are you going to do with your logical thinking? So, scarf. These are like a way of looking at some of, like, breaking down the 5 different ways in which people go into social anxiety. S stands for status. One of my practitioners pointed out to me in a prison when I first learned this model that she thinks that status is the biggest thing that puts me in social anxiety. And I was like, that makes me sound like an egotist. So status means our need for esteem and respect. How important are you to other people? That's your status. Do you matter to other people? Then I realized that when someone comes into our Rise Up sessions and challenges me for playing my music too loud, I'm like, what do you mean? Can you come and make these fellas meditate? Can you come and get these hardcore criminals to turn the lives up? You're not doing none. Get out my room. I'm the Rise Up fella. Get out. Because they challenged my status. And maybe I've got a big ego. I am a rapper. Anyway, C, I'm joking. C is for certainty. That means our ability to predict what's going to happen next. If what's going to happen next, it becomes unpredictable, that can put you into social anxiety. And trying to make sense of a new world can be tiring. Another reason why a lot of people don't want to change their map of the world. You don't want to admit that the world's misogynistic or racist, or, you know, too bent on more exponential growth and money, because to change their map of the world is tiring. Yeah, certainty puts them in anxiety. So don't blame them. Stop knocking them over the head saying, be more liberal, be like me. Just have a chat with them. So A stands for autonomy. That means your sense of freedom and control over what's happening in your life. R stands for relatedness. That means how comfortable, how you relate to other people, how comfortable you feel with the other people that are there. Are they friend or are they foe? The parietal lobe doesn't do grey areas. Everything's black and white. Friend or foe. And the F is fairness. Your perception of how fair these interactions are. Like, someone gave that person more time to read their poem than yours. Well, that wasn't fair. And now I've only got 2 minutes, and my poem's well longer than 2 minutes. Now I'm nervous. What have you done to me? That was your fault. That wasn't fair. So understanding these things, I hope, will help you to be able to pick out what puts you into a state of social anxiety, and also use the models we've already covered, like the Mercedes model, to be able to overcome these situations. And don't blame yourself. Remember the meta. Remember the meta states. If you get panicky, don't go, oh, now I'm stupid because I'm panicky, and now I'm angry about myself being stupid, about being panicky. Accept your panickiness. Get curious about it. I wonder why I'm feeling panicky, and decide what to do about it. Yeah, and even laugh at yourself. Oh, it's me being all panicky again. All right. Yeah, positive meta states. Positive meta states. The thought you have about the thought. Remember that, the meta state. So, okay. So, what skills do you have now? Next little bit of writing for you. What skills do you have now? And what skills can you gain? So, for example, I quite like public speaking. I already rap. So I can use that to go and apply for this grant to do a play, a show that then changes my life. Although I've not done a show before. So I had to take my skill of oratory, my skill of rap, the fact that I don't mind performing, but then go and learn a new skill of writing a show for the stage. 18 months ago, I wasn't on social media. So I hate it. I had to go and learn. I paid someone to tell me what to do with social media. Honestly, I paid someone to tell me what to do, just to give me the confidence to go and do it. So that now I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and get all the messenger things, all that stuff. I still don't like it, but it has really, really helped me to promote my book and put the word out there. So that's a skill I had to develop. What else could I develop? And what skills have you got that could help you with your promoting yourself as a successful person or a writer? Are you good on Photoshop? Can you use pictures to promote yourself on the Instagram? Are you good at animation? Could you be using that? Are you good at crochet? Do you really like dogs? If so, have you written to bloggers and magazines about dogs, crochet, whatever you're into, to see if you can get a job writing for them? And if not, why not? Because that will develop your writing and make you a paid writer. So take just a little 30 seconds to think about what skills you've got and what skills you could develop. Skills, hobbies, interests. Okay, that was twice as long as I said you're going to have. That was a minute. That actually, yeah, I found other things. I could do more. I could do a blog. Why don't I do a blog? Why haven't I done a blog? You know, I could get on more campaign things to use my oratory to help promote me myself as a writer. I could do more poetry. I love writing poetry, but I never do it. And only when I get commissions to do it, which is kind of weird. I don't know why I do that. So yeah, there's things that I can still work on and develop to promote myself as a writer. Okay, now, Okay, we've got about 15 minutes. So next exercise. Anyone want to share any of these? Has anyone picked up on anything that they thought during that last minute that they've gone, oh, why didn't I think of doing that before? Or, well, I could develop that. Anything that anyone wants to share with us? It'd be really nice to know if anyone's got had any light bulb moments. Blogging, yeah, blogging, yeah. Do all your promo yourself. The publisher doesn't do that. It's a really good point. People think if you get published, they'll just make you rich and famous. No, they will not. They expect you to do it. So you better have the confidence to make those videos. If you watch my trailer for Locks on YouTube, I paid someone to do that, but he took the audio from my show, my one-man show, and I thought he'd make like a little montage of bits of the show, but he made a whole like animated movie to go with the audio, and I didn't pay him enough to do that. But it's amazing what you can get when you think outside the box. And then he made another one for me as a shorter version. They're really good. They're like little movies. They are amazing. So there's things that you can do to promote yourself. Don't expect anybody else to do it for you. As I think that was Nancy said, they're not going to. It doesn't work like that nowadays. So, okay. Now, last exercise. So this is called being at your best. Okay, and then we're going to come back briefly to everything we've just covered. So, being at your best, are you ready? This is the biggie, this. You're going to develop a metaphor. Thinking in metaphor puts you into your unconscious state of mind. That's why poetry is so powerful, because and stories and myths. That's why myths last for thousands of years. Metaphor puts us into that unconscious part of the mind, okay? From where the ideas spring, from where inspiration springs, from where dreams come, okay? And we all have all of those archetypes, as Carl Jung would call them, all the archetypes of the dreams and the myths are all in all of us, okay? That's how we know certain things, how a fish knows to swim upstream or a baby knows to go to the mother for milk. It's unconscious. It's not a conscious process. It happens unconsciously. A metaphor puts us into that part of ourselves. So this is really powerful stuff. You're going to develop a metaphor for you at your best, the most powerful you that does all those things that a successful person does, that is outgoing, that does all the things that you can do. Okay, so it starts like this. Are you ready? Okay, number one, think of a time that you did something really well. I don't care what it is. Think of a time you did something really well and describe that in one short sentence. One sentence, something you did really well. Okay. These must be long sentences, wasn't they? In one word, number two, in one word, how did you feel? So I could say like a performance, maybe a workshop where I'm freestyling and it's all going really well and everyone's singing along and getting on board. That's something I've done really well. How did I feel? Maybe I felt like, oh, in one word, maybe it felt like huge. I felt big. So now number three, when you are huge, big, whatever your word is, like that, you are like and this is your metaphor, you are like what, or like a what. So when I'm like huge, big, like that, I'm like I'll come back to the one I used the other night. I'm like a dragon. I can fly, yeah. So when you are like that, you are a what? That's your metaphor. The next stage, number 4, is consider this. Whatever your metaphor is, whatever that feeling is, what happens just before you become a dragon? Just before you become that thing, what happens? Yeah, got an interesting smile there. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, makes you think. Number 5, then what happens? Yeah. Okay. I'm only going off the people I can see, by the way. So when they look up, I'm moving on. So for those I can't see, I don't know if you're getting long enough or too long. I'm just going off those I can see. So number 6, before you are a big dragon, before you are that thing, what would be the first things that somebody else would notice? What would they see in you? What would they hear? So before you become that thing, what would be the first thing I would see and hear if I was in the room with you? Yeah, interesting. Yeah, maybe you don't have to share any of this stuff. This is totally for you. We can share later if you want to. This is totally for you to just be honest. Yeah. Number 7, how can you help yourself become huge dragon? How can you help yourself become? Yeah. Number 8, this is the penultimate one. Just 2 more questions. Number 8, what could someone else do to help you become? Okay. And the final question, think about this now, thinking about what happens when you become big fiery dragon, whatever yours is. Think about what happens when you become you at your best. What happens next and what happens after? What do you now know? Big and deep. In it. Good to hear. Yeah. Yeah. Take a deep breath. That was quite deep. Take a deep breath. Does go quite deep, that. Okay. Empower yourself. So, last thing I'm going to ask you to write is 3 words, big, down the side of your page. I am. I can. I will. Now, remember, I heard a quote from Oprah Winfrey the other day that says, she said, self-esteem means knowing that you are the dream. You are the dream. Not you will be, or you'll be in the future. You might be. No, you are it. It is now. It is you. And to believe that is your choice. Nobody else's. You just choose to be that you at your best that you've just written about. That you now know what happens before that happens. You know what it feels like to be in it. And you know how to access it. It's there now, whenever you want it. Whenever you need that, whatever that metaphor is, it's there. Is there anything that anyone got from that that they'd like to share with us? If you feel to, you know the rule, if you feel to, you have to. But if you don't feel to, it's fine. But if you feel to, you have to do it. You can't not do it because you maybe not, a bit scared, or a bit nervous, or a bit embarrassed. No, you have to do it if you get the feeling to it. So, anyone want to share any of that with us, what their metaphor is, or how that felt, or anything? It's about being good enough.
Go ahead. I will if no one else will.
Go on, who's that? Oh, Sana, hello, Sana.
Yeah,
Go on.
you're right. Everyone's being shy again.
Right, go on.
So mine was, it's nothing to do with writing. Mine was when I opened, I created a beautiful shop of amazing seaside souvenirs. And it was straight after like some heartbreak and stuff. So it was kind of like difficult time, but yeah. So that's kind of, and the reason I say that bit is because that what did I feel was proud. And then I was gonna compare myself to a peacock at first, but then I actually decided I didn't want to be a peacock. I'd rather be a phoenix, because it was after this kind of period of that. So it was a phoenix rising from the ashes. And then, yeah, I can't remember what I'm trying to find. I can't read my own writing, so it's always the problem. Yeah, what came before that was a lot of hard work and a lot of heartbreak. And then what happened was it all came together. If somebody heard or seen what was going on, they would have been seen a lot of heard a lot of swearing and seen a lot of sweating. And then how can somebody help is to, oh no, hang on, what was the next one? How can you help yourself become that person? Oh yeah, so to find that passion and that purpose again. And how can someone help? That'll be to support me or to be like a safety net. And then I really can't read my own writing. Oh yeah, and the last bit, what do you know now? Is about resilience. There was a few other things, but that's the simplest way. Thank you.
So beautiful to hear. So beautiful to hear. And you have that resilience. You are that resilience any time of any day or night when you decide to tap into it. It really is your choice, even when things are difficult. Let's just go back to where we started. The world is a dark room. Your consciousness is a torch. Where do you choose to shine your light. I am all these things. I do love life. I am outgoing. I am hardworking. I am always there. I am powerful. You need to, when we finish this session, go back to your lists of what a successful person does and write those things. What a successful person is, write those things after the word I am. Go back to your list of what a successful person does and write those things after I can. And then after I will, take the words from your third list, the things that the skills you've got and the skills you can develop. I am, I can, I will. You choose where to shine your torch. And if you think you're blagging yourself, just go for the phrase, fake it till you make it. Yeah? You are everything you need to be already. Just make the most of what you are already. Thank you for bearing with us. I hope you got something out of that. I think, thank you, Becky. Any question? I haven't done this yet. Have I? At the end of these sessions, I always go right to the very end. So we've got a bit of time left. So, any questions or anything you'd just like to say or share? It's up to you. Oh, we did get some more stuff in the from Nancy. For me, I feel like a boss. The meme and Kellis song and Xena Warrior Princess, Buffy the Vampire Slayer gets in. Felt difficult to dig in that way, but also useful and liberating. For me, this is Becky. For me, it came down to tying in self-worth and creativity, which was mad to think about it. Yeah. That was beautiful. Sana says Angela. There you go, Sandra. You see that? Oh, you did. You got a thanks back, man. It really was beautiful, really, really powerful. And thank you for sharing. If there are no questions, put your hand up if you've got a question. Because if things go quiet for too long, I can't help but talk, and so I'm trying to avoid it.
There's some lovely comments in the chat there. Actually, Pippa's just said that this is very powerful and has given food for thought. And Nancy's just put some arrows, which I think are echoing that. And yeah, I would agree. Just really quickly, Ash, if you got I've sort of got a question for you for how we can implement this, I suppose, outside of this session. Is that a practice that you do every day, that I am, I can, I will, those sort of affirmations?
No, but I do this kind of stuff so much that, like, the things, sometimes over time, the things that are working for me at the moment might change. Like in the past, like the affirmation, if you like, that I have found the most powerful throughout my 20 odd years of using these kind of techniques is I accept. Actually, that is the most powerful affirmation. I accept. For me, when things are really tough, I accept me. I accept the world. I accept. I accept. I accept. I accept. I accept. I accept. But obviously, sometimes you want to move things and change things, and or just feel a bit better. And that's when I might go for just affirmations like, I am happy, I am healthy, I am successful. And you know what I used to do? I am happy, I am healthy, I'm successful, I accept that. I am happy, I am healthy, I'm successful, I accept that. I am happy, because it's got a nice ring to it, and it goes round and round. Yeah.
I love that idea of acceptance and like, because I feel like that's a very present action, isn't it? About like holding yourself in that present moment. And actually, I think what's been really interesting, I mean, I think just bits from what I've seen from the chat and also from like me kind of writing along and stuff, is like how we view success, strangely, is always in the future, isn't it? And you're always kind of like generally sort of looking ahead, aren't you?
And another book for you, The Power of Now.
The
Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. If you've not read it, by gosh, if you can do it, it's a bit like the other one I mentioned the other day, about a bit like Astonishing the Gods by Ben Okri. If you can get along with it, it'll blow your mind and change your life. But if you can't get along with it, you will not get past the first 10 pages. So I've got some more comments here. I get frozen a lot of the time with my writing, and I'll do these exercises. I used to be a mindfulness teacher, Pippa. Oh, okay, cool. I can tell you're a very contemplative person, Pippa. but I'm not using the practice in me writing. Yeah. And why not? And why not? And that's the lucky thing for me, I guess, is that I've found a way to blend my writing with my work, so that then I'm constantly reminded that this way of thinking should be in my way of writing, and then this is my lifestyle. And if I'm not practicing what I'm preaching, then what's it all about? You know. So I get a daily reminder. So it's lovely to combine your work and your life. Like I said before, the happiest people in the world do that. They can either combine the life and the work, or accept what the work is, rather than thinking, when I retire. The other time that people are the happiest, according to the study done for the book Flow, and this took decades, this study, it was worldwide, it was a huge study. Milhay, the guy's called. It is up there, the book Flow. Anyway, I won't try and find it. Milhay, and I won't try and spell his surname, but it's called Flow. But yeah, the other thing they found was that people are in flow when they are at work. So that's when they're actually in flow and therefore at peace. But then when they tell them to stop working and have a think about what they want to achieve, they always say stop and work. I want to retire. Yeah, and give up work and go on holidays. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But people who accept the work, they're happier. So this is a question from Nancy: how to get rid of negative comments from others and stop them overriding these positive affirmations. How do we get rid of? You can't get rid of negative comments from other people. You can't change other people's map of the world. That's an important thing to remember from the communication model that we did. You can't change that. They will do what they will do. You cannot change them. But if you change your relationship to them, you will notice their behavior towards you will change. Okay. If people are not a positive influence, or you move away from them. Is at the time, see ya, mate. Change the dynamic of the relationship. And I don't know if you were here, Nancy, for the drama triangle session, but don't be a victim. If someone's persecuting you, don't be a victim. And also don't try and rescue them. Okay. Challenge them if you have to. Support people if you have to, but you can't change them. But if you have to just move away from them, and do so, that is not a friend. Okay, that's not a friend who does that. Okay. I know sometimes you don't want to let friends go. I have friends who are still, it'll give me a bit of that feeling, but I've known them for decades and I like being with them as well. So it's kind of, I've just got to like change the dynamic of the conversations and don't take it on board. If you have to put like, imagine a shield around yourself that these words bounced off. You bounce to you. And leave it with them. It's not yours. If someone comes, I'm going to swear now. Is anyone offended if I swear? It's not going to be a bad swear word. If someone comes knocking on your front door with a quick save. I believe that exists anymore. Remember quick save? I'm going to stick with it. If someone comes to your door with a, Becky's not a quick save, is there? Tesco's with a Tesco bag. Oh, you know the thing. A Tesco bag full of shit. Yeah, and goes, yeah, this is for you. You don't have to open a door and go, oh, I'll take your stinky shit. You are quite within your rights to say, that is yours, and I'm going to close the door now.
I think that's really useful to think about with boundaries and stuff as well, especially tying into like how that might affect. Really glad that you asked that kind of question, Nancy, because it's all good doing the work and stuff, but if you sort of let other people's negativity creep in, you take that on board, don't you? And it inhibits you. So I think that's a really good way of thinking about it, Ash. Thank you.
Don't let them do it to you. Don't let them do it to you. It's theirs. If they want some negative shit, they can have it. I'm not doing it. That's yours, mate. If you want that shit, it's not on me.
And on that lovely and very eloquent, as always, note, thank you so much, Ash. Honestly, it's been such a brilliant session and such a great insight into how we can all kind of like try to reprogram ourselves for the best and get the best out of ourselves and stuff. So thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. It's been
lovely
spending time with you. I don't even know how to put a little heart emoji. Thank you. It's lovely, and thank you to Writing on the Wall for allowing me to do this stuff. It's beautiful work, and don't forget to go back to your list. Thank you so much for this, Angela. So inspiring. I always feel better. Thank you, Angela. I really hope help and wisdom. Well, this is your wisdom. This is your insight now. Go and take this and change the world with it. Share it with others if you feel to give them some support, not to rescue them, support them. And remember, go back to your list. I am, I can, I will, and fill it in with those words from the beginning. Yeah. You beautiful people.
Oh, thank you so much, Ash, and thank you everyone for taking part tonight and being so open and generous. As always, it's such a lovely community, and I'm so pleased to be a part of it and to have Ash come and be invited in and be his lovely self. So thank you. Just before we go, a quick plug of some upcoming events that we've got on. As you all know, obviously the Writer's Block with Ash is in full swing. We have got some more events coming up. We are actually fully booked up with the one-to-ones now, but there is still an opportunity for you to come and share your work at the open house work share, which will be next week, where we'll collectively share some work and get some feedback from each other and from Ash. We've also got, of course, another workshop and the Bloc party, which is coming up at the end of next week, next Friday. So if you would like to perform something that you've written along the workshop or something that you've edited during Ash's residency, please do get in touch with us. You can email myself or Jenny, either at Becky@WritingOnTheWall or Jenny@WritingOnTheWall, and we'll sort you out with a slot, with a performance slot for the Bloc party. Please, I would encourage you to come and share your wonderful words with us all, and it'll just be a really lovely event to close the residency. We've also got Black History Month is in full swing, as I'm sure all of you know by now. And we've got a couple of events with WOW that are coming up. Actually, we've got 2 events this week. We've got one on Thursday evening with the musician and artist Nazim, and there's some more information about that on our website coming up. Or if you'd like any particulars, you can get in touch with Zach at Writing on the Wall or have a look at our Eventbrite to book on. We've also got a residency for 16 to 24-year-olds, which is going to be taking place at Tate Liverpool, and some more events coming up with that and the artist Blue Saint. So do keep an eye out. We've got a bunch of stuff coming up, which is really exciting, and obviously all for you to engage with. So do get involved and always let us know if you need anything or you've got any questions. All right, thanks so much, everyone, and have a lovely night. See you later.